Hey everyone, first thing we're going to do today is we're going to add to our multiplication and division mind map. And the division sign I've put a picture of in here because I can't write in it. It's the line with the two dots above and below it. Okay, what we do need to add though first is the word double to our multiplication side of the mind map, because as we learn, when we double something, we're timesing something by 2. It means we want the same number twice. So if we had 3 and we doubled, we'd want another group of 3. We'd get 6, wouldn't we? So that is 2 times. So we've added that over there. Now we're going to talk about division. So division, when we divide something, a number gets smaller, rather than when we multiply, when a number gets bigger. So we're going to write down some of the language that we might hear when we are doing some division work. So you might hear the word divide. It's the same as division, it means the same. It means to split a group of objects or to split something into certain parts. That can also be known as sharing, and we're really good at sharing in this classroom. So if we had 2 things we need to share with someone, we might give them one thing to use. Again, when we're talking about maths and division, using our divide sign, we could split or we could group our objects into different things. So we could group a number we could also use the word equal groups. So when we're talking about groups, we might want to have equal groups of. Okay, so we might split 12 into 3 equal groups of 4. Okay, so we want our groups to be the same when we're dividing, because we're working in whole numbers. When you hear division questions, you might hear phrases like divided by. So 10 divided by 2. Or when we're using practical objects, such as cookies maybe, you could be 10 cookies divided into 2 groups. So we've got that group, that word group again, we've got divided in there, all working towards the same outcome. Okay, with sharing, it might be that you want to share out how many objects you have. So share out 10 cookies between 5 people. Or you might have share between. Share these between 3 people. Okay, so it's the same sort of language, all means the same, going towards the same goal, which is sharing, dividing, splitting, grouping a number or items from 1, so 1 big number, getting smaller into smaller groups. You might hear share equally, and we know that equals means the same. So if you hear share equally, you're going to need to know that you're going to need groups that are of the equal size and the same. And like doubling, we will look at halving numbers as well. We'll see what halving means and see if we can make any links to doubling.
Oh, we're going on a walk. I'm so tired. We've been walking forever. Oh no, I've fallen over. I can't go on anymore. Oh, I'm just so hungry. I can't keep going like this anymore. Hey, don't worry, guys. We need to keep going. We need to find some food. Oh, I don't know what we can do. Who will ever save us now? Maybe you can give us some food. Have you got any food? Please? Hey guys, would you like to share my cookies? I've got plenty for everyone and I've eaten loads.
Before we start sharing our cookies out between all of our friends, maybe we could practice our counting too, see how many cookies we have. Ready?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Excellent, and some crumbs. We're going to start off with just 2 of our friends and 12 cookies, just like in the story The Doorbell Rang. Okay, how many cookies would each friend have? They've got 12, they need to have the same amount. I'm going to split them between the 2 people. How many cookies would they have? Shall we check? 1 for crab, 1 for penguin. 2 for crab, 2 for penguin. 3 for crab, 3 for penguin. 4 for crab, 4 for penguin. 5 and 5, 6 and 6. We have divided 12 cookies into 2 groups of 6 for our 2 friends. Oh no, I've dropped 4 cookies on the floor. We now only have 8. How many cookies would each friend have now? Shall we check? 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. There was 8 cookies, but they've split them and they have divided them between 2. They have 4. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So when you're doing division, which is this sign, remember, here, we need to start with a number here. And this number here is going to tell us how many we have of an object. So it might be cookies, it might be marbles, it might be sweets, could be anything. That is a number that we are dividing. Okay, so we've got 8 cookies. That's the number that we're going to be starting with. 8. So we're doing 8 divided by, and then we are dividing it by how many groups we have, or how many groups you want to split it into. So we have 1, 2 groups. So it would be 8 divided by 2. And we do our equal sign. So when we are dividing, we are splitting this number into this many groups. And that will give us the answer we just worked out. The answer of 4. What I'm going to do, year one, is I'm going to show you some cookies on a tray and then also have a different group or different number of friends around the cookies. What I want you to do is, just like they do in the story of The Doorbell Rang, is I want you to share the cookies between the friends. So each friend must have an equal share of the cookies, because that's the only fair way if they all have the same. Okay, so what you might want to do is to get some things that you can use to home. Some things you have at home to help you count. So you might have some counters at home. You might use bits of pasta. You could use some buttons. You could use your toys. You could share out different bits of Lego. Anything you can, and find something else you can share them into. So it might just be pots. So different groups of pots. But remember, each pot must have the same thing. I'm going to show you one now before I set you your questions. So this time we're going to count how many cookies we've got, and we've got 3 friends to share them between. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 cookies, or 9 objects to share. I'm going to write that in here. 9. Then I'm going to do my divided sign, which is this sign here. There are 2 dots and a slash. And then what number of people have I got to share them between? We have 1, 2, 3. So 9 divided by 3, or split into 3 groups. Okay, so we're going to share our cookies out. Okay, so 1 for crab, 1 for Pippity, 1 for penguin. 1 for crab, 1 for Pippity, 1 for penguin. 1 for crab, 1 for Pippity, 1 for penguin. And there's no more cookies left to share out. how many do they each have? They should all have the same. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 9 divided by 3, or split into 3 groups, gives us 3. Okay, I'm going to set you some questions now. See how you get on and see if you can write the number sentence. How would you share these cookies between Pippity and Quiet Turtle? So count how many cookies we have, and remember they need to have the exact same amount of cookies each. Pause the video and have a go at that for me. And 1 left over for me. Yummy.